Welcome to the Ladies Lounge.
What's up? We're your hostess with the mostest. I'm your homegirl, Carmen.
And I'm Lena.
And today we are going to be talking about a lot of bullshit. Let me not say bullshit, because the last time I said something like that, people got offended. Like I was personally, like they took it personal. You know when you make a statement and then someone just like right off the bat just gets offended and they start getting defensive, and it really had like it was not meant to be that serious.
Right.
That happened with the post that I posted recently. Oh, the Father's Day one.
Oh yeah.
You're like, you stirred up some shit. Some dude was like,
so you didn't see my comment, huh? You didn't see my comment.
Yeah,
on there? I was like, why you always starting shit, girl?
Shit. I was dead. I thought I replied to you because I was like, yeah, right. So all I said was, Happy Parents' Day. This was on Father's Day. I put Happy Parents' Day because all parents matter, and it's SpongeBob with a sarcastic face. And the reason why I posted that is because Black Lives Matter and the All Lives Matter people always coming at me.
Right.
So I posted that, and this dude got hella deep. I was like, first off, I don't know you. Second of all, it was not meant to diss the fathers. He's like, you couldn't post this on Mother's Day. And I was like, obviously, I thought about it today. Like,
right.
Dude, let's talk about bullshit, because it's not bullshit. I'm just saying we're having our normal conversation. But today we do want to, speaking of which, talk about, the good fathers out there. Because I think people feel that we're this like dick bashing party when it comes to the ladies now. And it's like we want to definitely don't want to be known as that. We want people to feel welcome. We want both men and women to feel welcome. We want you to feel like this is, we don't ever want you to walk into the room and be like, oh, wrong fucking room, We want you to take it with us. The point of the show was to talk about experiences and life situations that can be relatable for people. And with that being said, we want men to feel like you can learn from our show based on scenarios that take place, whether it's with me, with Angie, or the people that decide to share their experience, So I think there's a misconception that this is fuck all men, and it's really not. We want you to know that we love you, men, and today we want to talk about the fathers, because Father's Day just happened. And there's a lot of great dads and great men in general that deserve to be praised, right? There's a lot of men who go above and beyond, because men work different when it comes to women in every aspect, whether it is to get over someone, the falling in love process, the catching feeling process, with every little step is very different than women. And I think it's because we're more, I don't know, we're more nurturing, we're more loving naturally, so we come off as soft, right? It's like the thing where women are supposed to be like these emotional creatures, in which we are a lot of times. But there's a lot of men that are great at, being able to, how can I say, like capture the moment of like, falling in love with someone and doing it the right way. Getting into a relationship with someone and doing it the right way. Not all men are toxic. Just like there's a lot of great dads out there, that we've talked about the big daddies that are whack as fuck. We've talked about the deadbeats for sure, but there's a lot of great dads out there that they do it naturally, and we want to show love to them. I don't know if you want to start off with showing someone some love.
Well, first off, happy Father's Day to all the daddies, especially the fine ones.
Okay. Girl single.
Call you daddy any day. So, but I just got to shout out my dad. My dad's awesome. He has raised us, and he actually raised my oldest brother as his own, and he even gave him his last name. So my oldest brother, he's pretty much, I didn't even know he wasn't like my full-blooded brother till I was like 12. And like my dad has just always, shown me about work ethic and about just, always putting God first. And he has been an amazing grandfather to my daughter as well. I personally think she's his favorite, but it's just amazing to like see, a man just show his vulnerable side. And as my dad has gotten older, he's definitely been more loving, more caring. He's always been one to just do the little things that put a smile on my face. Like there's times where he'll just come and especially because, you know, I've been staying here with him, he'll just grab me. So I like a banana in my ice cream. I know that's like so random, but he'll like chop up a banana and then he'll put the ice cream on top of it just like I like it. And
You
he'll
know
just
that you like it.
Exactly. So I don't even have to ask for it. Like he just does stuff like that. There's times where, you know, he would just call me and be like, hey, I put some money in your bank account, you know, like get yourself something nice. It's those little things that to me mean so much. And I guess sometimes I do have a hard time dating men that don't serve me that way or don't love me that way because he has set such a high standard, you know?
Yeah.
And then when it comes to, you know, my brothers too, like my brothers, they are my protectors. Like I'm telling you right now, I've saved a lot of people's lives because my brothers are about that life. So they have been, you know, basically like, you know, just the guys in my household that I always knew, like, if anything, like they were always going to be there to protect me. They've been the same way with my daughter. And, you know, they've just been a big part of my life as far as raising me to be the woman I am today. But yeah, I mean, you know, overall, of course I have like my close friends, like my boy Los, like he's been a father figure to my daughter, which I absolutely love that, you know, she has that. We're actually going to go visit them pretty soon in Florida. And he's going to be teaching her how to drive. Our daughters are the same age. So him and his wife and their kids and like my daughter, like we're all close. So it's just dope, you know. Yeah, it's dope to see men fill in that void of, you know, when fathers aren't around. And it necessarily, yeah, and it doesn't even have to be like your partner. Like a lot of time, like I said, this is somebody who's my close friend, and you know, he's married, he has kids and everything, and I'm close to the whole family. But yeah, just shout out to, you know, all the men that step up, and even in you know, like whoever's life that they step into, and like they're not even the real father, I commend them. Like, you know, so yeah, I mean, that's pretty much that. My Father's Day was cracking. We were barbecuing at my brother's house, and you know, we were in the pool and all that. So it was a nice, beautiful summer day.
I love it. And you know, there's something to it, I think, when it comes to our fathers, because the same, you know, I love how my dad shows his love is through food.
Mm-hmm.
Like my dad, man, I'm gonna show you pictures of me when I was a baby, when my siblings were when we were all little. My dad used to love taking pictures of us with fruit, like just a bunch of fruit that's everywhere. Like we'd be carrying.
How cute!
We'd be carrying. He loves fruit, but he loves like showing us love through his food. And to this day, he loves cooking for us because we like every time there's gonna be a celebration, whether it's Father's Day, Mother's Day, you know, even Valentine's Day, like every holiday, Christmas, you name it, he wants to cook, and he loves like making people feel good. So if he makes, even if he just comes up with some random, like he makes some top ramen and he adds something extra, and I'm like, he'll be like, like he loves, like I could tell the joy it brings him. And I feel like with our dads is a great example of what it is we would, or how it is we would want our, you know, our significant other to express their love for us, right? Because we're used to like this way of them showing it. But I think it happened as we got older, because I feel like the treatment that my dad gives us as his kids is way different than he gave my mother. You know what I'm saying?
Of course, like, right.
Like, don't get me wrong, they have a special bond and they love each other, but it's it's definitely not like, if my dad was my partner, his ass would have been gone a long time ago. It's the way he loves on, you know what I'm saying? But the way he loves on us, it's like, it's a different form of love. And like you said, I think as they get older too, they find ways to show it. So like my dad loved to cook for us. So like on Mother's Day, he takes advantage of like cooking not just for my mom, but for all of us to make us feel good. And like, we love that. So we try to, you know, do the same thing, but he loves me so much that even when we try to cook for him, we'll like step in to like try to, you know, make it work. But that's his way of showing, you know, the way he loves. With my man, same thing. You know, my man has been in my life for, I've said this on almost every fucking, I feel like I'm saying it. I'm talking too much about him. It's really getting on my nerves. I need to stop that.
No.
But he's been in my life for the past 8 years, and he took it upon himself to step up without me. You know, obviously it was always like, man, I used to question him all the time. Like, are you sure? Like, I got baggage. Like, are you sure you want to? I remember I would always question him. And when he told his grandmother about me, I remember was like, because he had her on speaker. He was like, "Are you sure? I mean, she does have kids." I was like, "She right? I do got kids. Like, I don't know if you really want to be here." But he was it wasn't like he was intimidated by that. He never showed. And this is coming from a man who really was growing up while we started dating. So the fact that he chose, it just came out of him actually to be this father figure it's amazing, because I look at it now and I'm like, yo, there's a lot of times where I may have taken him for granted because I was so used to, like, what man wants to change diapers? Like, this dude was young at the time we met, and was willing to change my son's diapers. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what? Like, mind blowing. And I look back now and I'm like, I always take those moments and like, it'll be a random day and I'm like, I'm so grateful for you. He'll be like, why? I'm like, you've done so much that sometimes I feel like I don't show you enough. But then he does things for me now that make me realize that I have done my job in showing him. Otherwise, he would have left my ass a long time ago. Like I was just telling you, he surprised me with like this editing program that I wanted for the podcast. He surprised me with it. And I'm like, when he does sweet things like that for me, it makes me realize that I must be doing something right in showing him love and affection still, for him to still want to do things like this without me asking him. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. There was a time where we ain't gonna get into it, but there was a time where we had to have these conversations and we had to have these arguments. But I think it's all part of the process, And so honestly, like with my man, I will always praise him for that. If tomorrow we ended up breaking up, I can't hate him. Even when we had the breakup, remember I would tell you, like, I can't hate him. I will never wish bad upon him. I just wish he never got coochie again. And I feel like that's I feel like that's normal, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't say like, I hope he go to hell. I just feel like, I just hope he didn't get coochie again. But I feel like I will always respect him as a man, because he's always shown so much for me and my kids.
Yeah.
But I think there's something to it, man. Like, I feel like, is that a love language in a form for men? Like the way they show their love and affection, like very different than women, And I know you and I had talked about wanting to talk about love languages, but I did some research on it.
So, well, first off, let me just finish by saying that, we've been talking about, your man, like every episode. However, I do like the fact that we bring this balance. Like, I'm the single girl, like everybody pretty much has been watching me go through this heartbreak and just seeing the wave of me. So I'm excited for people to see me like dating again, and then like finding my partner, getting married. Like, y'all about to see all that, and y'all about to see how happy you're gonna be, or that you are already, from putting so much work into a relationship. Because I'm like, next.
But you gotta, and I want to just touch on that real quick. You have to. Like, this is a process, because you guys are getting to see the Angie with like the recent breakup and the going through the emotions, the emotional roller coaster. But you guys aren't seeing what I'm seeing behind the scene too. It's a struggle. And I think with the women, it's like, I know in the last episode we talked about double standards, but one thing that for sure the double standards is how the process of moving on happens when you're heartbroken, right? With men, it's okay for them to move on to the next, and it's no big deal. That's a natural thing. Men do it. It's like, it's almost like a normal conversation to have. Like, what, you ain't moved on yet? Your girl left you a month ago. But with women, if you started, like, I guarantee if you were fucking someone now or fucking 2 weeks ago, your ex will probably have some shit to say about you, And it's not just him. And it's not even just him. I feel like it's a lot of men that just think it's a big deal. And I think we're all fucking grown here. And I think it's important for people to note that although it can be toxic to go from one to the next, it's also come to exploring, We're fucking grown. So you mean to tell me the next person I have to have sex with there's like a specific rule for it? Like, no. Everyone feels in their own way. And if it takes for you to meet someone and you happen to have sex and then you never see that person again, I think that's part of your journey. That's part of your growth and nobody else's. So when people are so quick to like judge you for moving on, I know that this has happened to me in the past. Like when I was trying to move on, I wasn't like, I'm not ever going to meet anyone else. Like, no, everyone has their own process. It's just for some reason, women can't talk about it because they're considered hoes, or they're considered, you know, to be out here thotting. But really, we're doing the same thing you are, trying to, you know, put your pieces back together in your heart. And through that process, you want the attention, you want the entertainment, and you want the distraction from someone. You know? It's the same thing you want, only you're doing it and it doesn't look wrong. But because I'm a woman, it looks bad. So that's where I just want to say, so through this process, fuck what everyone thinks. If you happen to meet someone and you happen to get some dick, I'm going to say it's yours, okay? And then if you happen to meet someone and then you're like, you know what, I just don't want to get into it. Like, I feel like it's not going there, or I feel like it's just going to be this. I'm going to support you, because if you feel that it's right, then who is anybody else to say something, or who is anybody else to say it's wrong because you just broke up from a relationship? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be a process. So while you're dating, I'm definitely cheering you on. Obviously, I feel like by now, you know what's toxic and what isn't, you know what I'm saying? But there's going to, that's not to say that you're not going to mess up, or that's not to say that you know, aren't going to come across a couple assholes, which it's inevitable that's going to happen because that's the world we live in. But I think it's important for you to know when it's a rebound, what it is, you know, like, okay, it's just a rebound, or to remember to keep that that wall up. It's just, I think there's a process to the finding yourself after a breakup. And to me, I'm just like, that's one thing that men need to stop doing, is judging women when they're trying to fucking move on, just like you are, you know?
Yep. There you go, girl. Well, I'm the princess of Thoughtlandia. Okay. So
call me what you want. Call me what you want. Yeah.
I don't even care. You know what? It's so funny because I've learned to embrace that. Like, if somebody has something to say about me, the people who really know me know the kind of person that I am. So I don't even give two fucks about people's opinions anymore. And as you see, I've just been kind of living my life and doing my own thing. But it's, you know, it's a good feeling. But overall, like, I feel like I'm just going through this process and I feel good about it. Like, there's at no point where I'm just like, damn, like, should I listen? I know my ex is living his life, so I'm definitely enjoying mine right now, and I always am. Like, this is definitely right. So I'm definitely enjoying it. But you know, I will say that I have always told you this, even when you guys were broken up, or anytime you and your man have had any issues, I've always said I appreciated him being there for the kids and loving your kids the way he does. I know that's kind of like left field because we were just talking about something else, but I just wanted to like share that, because I feel like even if things don't work out with somebody, you don't have to hate them in order to move on, you know? And that's kind of where I'm at. I was like, okay, no love lost, lessons learned, helped me grow, ready to move on. Because the more you hold on to stuff, the more you're not able to, you know, move on. And I just think that people cross paths for, you know, a specific reason.
You have to find what that reason was and focus on that, rather than focus on hating them for whatever that is that good in your relationship, you know?
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, you know, I just think that right now is just, you know, a good time for me to just focus on the things that were good. And you know, like you said, there's men share their feelings for us in a different way than we do, and a lot of it is because they, you know, are probably not aware about love languages, which I have the information here, so I wanted to share with everybody. Just, you know, break it down so people kind of get like what it is. So there is a quiz that you can just Google it and just put love language quizzes. I know for me, it said my love language was words of affirmation, and what that is, it's verbal compliments that express your love and appreciation. So like, for example, when someone like speaks words that build security and initiate a sincere apology, like, that's huge, you know. And I'm sorry, allergies are kicking my ass right now, so I'm trying like not to stuff this in my nose right now. So okay, so the second one is acts of service. So in any act that eases the burden of responsibility. So an example is make behavior changes requested through conflict. That's basically saying like, or I'll break it down a little more. So like when your car's broken down and your man's like, hey, we need to get it to the shop. Hey, we need to make sure, you know, your car is good. That's an act of service. Like someone's showing you that they care about you by making sure that they're providing some kind of, you know, service for you, or they do chores around the house, or, you know, whatever, like any act of service that you feel would be like, ooh, okay, like I appreciate him taking that on. Quality time, of course, that's, you know, focused and undivided attention spent together. Giving gifts, and of course that's self-explanatory, and physical touch. So it doesn't necessarily have to be sex. It can be just, you know, a hug, or okay, so let me explain this too. You express, or you, love languages is basically how you give love and how you receive it.
So there's two different ways then, huh?
Yeah. So basically the way I receive love, or the way I feel loved, is by words of affirmation. And then the way I express it is through physical touch. So I'm very touchy-feely. So I'll give a massage, or like if I'm sitting next to them, like it's just something in me to like want to rub on their arm, or like want to rub their head or something. So those are kind of, you know, that's basically the 5 ways that they break down the love languages. Have you taken the quiz?
No, I haven't, but I can kind of like, I'm listening to you talk about all of them, and I'm like, well, I got a little bit of that. I got a little bit of that, because I feel like with me, it may be 2 things. Like I like to hear it, but I think I mostly like the action. I'm so fucking tired of words where I gotta be like, now show me what you mean. But I think to a certain extent, as I was growing up, I think in relationships, I wanted the verbal, like I want to hear you tell me, I want you to remind me. And I think part of it is, now that I look back at it, dealing with domestic violence, I feel like that's probably what triggered me, right? Since I was always getting the verbal abuse and the physical abuse, I think that to me at that point in my life and going through it, I wanted the words, like tell me these nice things, because deep inside, without knowing, I was broken, right? So as I'm like, I think as at that point in my life, which was a much younger version of myself now, I wanted to hear these things, because I was being told the opposite. You know, I was hearing all the bad stuff. So I think if it was told to me, which obviously if I stayed in a relationship long enough to be physically abused, it began with verbal, you know, and because I stayed in it was because it was a manipulation. So because I was being manipulated, I think it was, every time it would like, he would say, you're a fucking hoe, you're a bitch, or whatever. And then it'd be like, you know what? I fucked up. It's not you, it's me. And so I would fall into those. So then obviously I felt like at that time it was my love language, because he would reel me back in just by telling me certain things, you know, and manipulating me. At the time I didn't realize I was being manipulated, but I felt like that was his way of showing me his love. So I was taking it in that way. Now the older version of myself, not that old, but the older I feel like is, I want to see it, I want to feel it. You know, when my man, like if he's sitting next to me, he rubs my leg, something simple like that, give that comfort. Or that, if I was thinking I was having a bad day and I was thinking like maybe he's cheating on me or something, and then I feel him touch me, it makes me feel comfort, where it literally will erase that thought out of my head that I was thinking. You know what I'm saying? From my insecurity. So I think maybe touch is my love language now, because I transitioned after, you know what I'm saying? Dealing with what I dealt with in the past. But how do you know what your love language is? And like you said, what your love language is different than what you give, because you got to find someone who matches your love language.
So basically, it does change over time. So there was a point where I was dating somebody and they would tell me all the words of affirmation, but I still needed the physical touch. So to me, it was like, okay, well, and I mean, we weren't, like I said, we were just dating. I would basically just go to somebody else for the physical touch. I mean, I'm just going to keep it real. And so
was that motherfucker, but that was because he was out here doing his own shit, which you were right. You know what I'm saying? You're
right.
So
yeah, exactly. So, but yes, it does change over time. And, you know, just knowing, like paying attention, being aware of all of this. Like you said, as I was mentioning them, you were like, oh yeah, I do like a little bit of that. I do like a little bit. So when you take the quiz, you'll see like your percentage based on, you know, what you've answered. But I think that as you're dating somebody, and this was something I shared with you too, about the circle and the square, like the circle feels fulfilled when you're in a relationship, but the square basically feels like, you know, there's still edges or there's still needs that aren't being fulfilled. So, you know, we all have these ways of like expressing love and receiving love. And it's so important. I actually just asked this to somebody the other day, just because, you know, it's a friend and it's somebody that I really value. I said, how can I bring value to your life? Like, what is there that I can do to make you feel loved? And he was like, nobody's ever asked me that. Yeah. And, you know, it's so important to me that as a friend, that I'm the best possible friend, you know, I can be. That's foundation. And this is even love, not just with the partner. I mean, just in general, you know, the people around you, hopefully, you know, you love them and they love you, and you can, you know, express your love to them. Like I like giving gifts, you know, but when somebody gives me a gift, I'm like, no, why did you spend money? Like, why did you do that? Like, yeah. So it's so weird how, it's not weird, but you know, there's a way that we can express love that when we receive it, it just feels a little uncomfortable sometimes. Like there's people that don't like physical touch. There's people that feel uncomfortable with me rubbing their head or with me, you know, touching their arm or whatever, or public, what do you call it? Public display of affection. You know, it's just, I don't know, people are different, but I think communicating that is really, really important. And if you are a couple and you want to take the quiz, I suggest you do it together, because that can both give you that idea of like, okay, this is my love language, and then you understand what their love language is, because the way I express love might not be the way somebody receives it. And that's really important to know.
So then it seems, then you get that void where it seems like the person doesn't care for you, but really they're showing you their love language, you know, and you're not catching on to it because your love language is theirs. Man, I saw that interview that you had sent me, that is so important for us to recognize that, you know, because sometimes you can be compatible with someone and not realize it because your love languages are different and you're not understanding each other's language. So it can literally, something so small like love language can literally destroy your relationship. You may have all these things in common, right? You love the same sport. You love doing the same things, whether it's like hiking or you love chilling at home. But your love language can literally destroy all that good stuff because you don't know how to communicate with each other through that love language. It's so, so yeah.
Like acts of service for sure. I've been noticing that I really like. I didn't really notice before that it's the way I receive love, but based on like, you know, I shared about my dad, how he just like does, you know, he'll go and he'll get me some ice cream and he does it exactly how I like it. So I've been, you know, being in touch with a lot of my friends that I haven't been able to like see since the quarantine. So I've been like going and visiting friends. And of course, you know, like we mentioned, I have a lot of guy friends. So I go to their house and they'll cook for me and they'll like serve me a drink and they'll serve my food and they'll clean after. And I'm like, this is so foreign to me. As Latinas, we're so used to serving and we're so used to being the ones that are like submissive that it's foreign to me to have a man serve me food. And I'm liking it. I'm not even going to lie. Like these are my friends, but I'm like, yo, like that's husband material right there, because I appreciate a man that's willing to serve. That's amazing. So I'm starting to notice.
Yeah, that's crazy that you say that, because like you mentioned earlier, it feels uncomfortable when someone does something for you that you are already naturally do, right?
Yep.
Like I mentioned how I went to the drive-thru and then the person in front of me bought my meal. And
that happened to me recently too.
But check this out. I do this all the time. Like I will literally, if I'm in a drive-thru and it comes across my mind, I always take it as a sign from God. I know this is probably just me, but I always take it as a sign. I'm like, why am I thinking about it? I have to do it. So I end up paying for the person behind me. It actually has never happened to me back.
Oh, so you've done it.
Yes. So I always have done it. And I figured it makes someone feel good, right? But I've never experienced it because it hadn't happened to me. So when the person like did it. It was just at my worst fucking day. I had a shitty day. It was just, I was full of emotion. I was dealing with family issues. It was just a lot, right? And so I'm there about to pay, and then the girl goes, here you go, have a great day. And I said, oh, I haven't paid you yet. She's like, oh, I know, the girl in front of you paid. And I was like, she did? She was like, yeah. I was like, she said, just have a blessed day. And I was like, she did. I was like, no, she didn't. And like, that feeling was so weird to me, because it's, how can I explain it? I didn't expect it at that moment. I guess you can never really expect it, but I just didn't expect it, because my mind was going 24, like, oh my gosh, it was 24 hours a day. Listen to me, I can't even fucking talk. My mind was going 60 miles per hour, and I was literally like drained with emotion. It was a long day, a lot of news that I have received. And so when that happened to me, I didn't even know how to take it in. So it just, I had to cry it out. Like I'm driving home, and the feeling of not being able to tell the girl, thank you, like that was so stupid. I'm crying because I'm like, I'm looking around like, who is this girl? I know it was a girl because I had seen her. I'm like, I wonder if she saw me through the rear mirror and noticed that I was like upset. Was it in my face? I don't know, but I wanted to be like, thank you, But isn't that crazy that we're used to doing these things? But when it happens to us, we're like, wait, what? It happened to me? Right. Like your friend's cooking for you, like that's.
I'm always the one cooking. Yeah, I'm always the one cooking. I'm always the one serving. And I'm always trying to figure out, like, how to just, like, do something for someone. So it is really nice when somebody, does that for you. But like I said, I think it's even more foreign to me because it's a man. And I'm definitely not used to a man, doing that. Like, I know for me in my culture, like, or in our culture, we're supposed to still, like, I still serve my brothers. I still serve my dad. And my mom's, like, very big on that. She's always like, sírvale, like she does not like for them to like serve their own food. So when a man's serving me, I'm like,
yes,
okay, I can get used to this.
So, fellas, I hope you're taking notes, because these are the things that are very important to us. It's literally, you always hear it, fellas, I know you do, when we say it's little things that count. It really is. Like, and even though everyone has different love languages, like we just talked about, there's no denying about the fact that if you do these things, it's always going to be a plus. It won't be a negative. If you go out of your way and do something, as sweet as even fucking doing chores, which we do all the time, right? We're picking up clothes, we're washing, we're cooking, all these things. But when your man does it, you're like, what? Like, it's a surprise. Okay, like what? Take your pants off right now. So it's like an instant turn on. Like, fellas, I promise you, if while your girl is cooking, you're in the room picking up, maybe doing the laundry, I promise you it will fucking make her day. You're probably gonna get your dick sucked that day. Like, I can almost guarantee it. Now, if your girl is sucking dick, maybe there's an issue that you guys need to discuss further, because but to me it's like, I think, and to most women, we appreciate those little things. So something as simple as, check this out, you fellas cleaning your fucking mustache or whatever the fuck you leave in the sink, clean that shit the fuck up, and I promise you, I'll be like, what? Like, you just shaved and I didn't even see your fucking hair? Yes, I'm sucking your dick. Like, literally, it takes nothing to get your dick sucked. I'm just kidding. It takes nothing to, like, make the relationship stronger. Like, those little things, like, when you go to the store and you call your girl and you let her know, like, hey, are you craving anything? Or, hey, don't cook today. Surprise her with, like, don't cook today. Like, that means a lot to us, because we're feeling like, damn, I'm here thinking of what to eat, and like, I never would have imagined you were gonna want to, go get something. So it just, things like that makes us feel so good. It just goes a long way, and I feel like it there's no way it could damage your relationship. It could only straighten it. So why not do these things for your partner, Even though people have different love languages, I feel like when it comes to a man, that maybe we shouldn't have low expectations, but you know what I'm saying? Doing things that most men don't do feels good, and it just, there's room for growth there. So if you haven't done it in the past, doesn't mean you can't do it now. Now you may have your girl question. You're like, what the fuck you do that you're cleaning up after yourself? You know what I'm saying? You may have yourself a Carmen, but it's still like there's something to be said, because then that starts a whole conversation that you weren't planning on having. It's all for the better of your relationship. Women do it all the time. Just watch what your girl does and what she likes. Surprise her from time to time. I know Angie was talking about, your man noticed at some point that you loved Starbucks, right? While you were working. What did he do?
Oh,
he
yeah.
sent you a Starbucks card through your phone.
Right.
He could pay for your Starbucks that day. It wasn't something that you communicated with him, but look, it was so meaningful that you expressed that to me, your girl, So,
I remember I told you, I was like, oh my God, so this happened today. And it wasn't even like, it was just a $10 little gift card, but that made my day. It really brightened up my day. And you're right. Like, it's just the little things that really make a difference.
Yeah. So fellas, if there's something you could take from this episode, I would say, pay attention to your partner, what they do, what they like. Ask what their love language is, or like Angie said, take the quiz to make you better understand each other. Because like I said, it's been proven, like experts have literally proven that even though you may have all the great qualities for each other, if you don't understand each other's love language, it could really damage your relationship. So taking that quiz and understanding, or just having communication, even if you don't have it, take the quiz, but understanding, having an understanding, like tell your partner, what do you like, and don't be like, if women, I think we tend to be difficult sometimes without realizing, because we expect our men to know these things. So, or we'll already be upset by them not doing certain things because we expected them to do it. Expecting leads to disappointment a lot of the times, because it's a genuine mistake. When someone doesn't do something that you wanted them to do, or someone doesn't say something you wanted them to make, it's a genuine mistake, and it can often cause a strain in your relationship because you never had that communication. Just like, if my man if I told my man, like, every Friday I want to go to the movies, and I never told him, right? And say I mentioned it before, like, oh, what we could do, like, every Friday, my friend does this. It sounds pretty cool, right? And like most men, it's gonna go right over their head. So it'll be like, okay, cool. And then I'm mad, right? Because I'm like, I fucking brought it up to you that I like these things. But a lot of the times, men aren't paying attention to those details. So we get mad, right? We'll get mad because we're like, I fucking told you when we were watching the movie like 3 months ago. And your man's like, oh.
You did?
Yeah, you were talking about me. I thought you were saying in general. So we also have to be specific, like really communicate about the things that you like. So that way there's no room to miss those spots. There's no room to say, oh, I just didn't know. Like, there's communication, and then you have that to back it up. So when your man doesn't do something that you wanted him to do, then you have to be like, I fucking had this conversation with you. Remember, we talked about what I like and what I didn't like. I specifically told you I didn't like this. You know what I'm saying? So, fellas, I would just really, really, really recommend that you pay attention to your women, but also take note in the things that she doesn't communicate. So when she does things where you're doubting, ask your partner. You know what I'm saying? Ask them. Think like, hey babe, I noticed that you like that Angie has, I don't know, her man takes her to the movies, and you like that she does that. Is that something that you would want me to do? Ask your partner. You know what I'm saying? Because also there's missed opportunities both ways. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Sometimes as women we could overly communicate, but a lot of times too we don't communicate what's important, which is telling them what we like and telling them what we want, because we expect them to know. Like, I used to be like that a lot in my relationships. I'd be like, well, he should just know. Remember, I would tell you, I'd be like, he should just know that so he should just know, like, if I don't do this to you, you shouldn't do it. And I think you at some point told me, like, have you told him this? And I'm like, no, but he should know.
He should know that. You know what, though? I've noticed too that men that I've dated have done stuff that I guess either their ex liked, or that they didn't do with their ex that they know they should have done. And I'm like, that's nice, but that's not what I want, And so I think it's really important that you communicate with your partner and ask them, like, hey, what are things that you like? What are things that you don't like? Because what's the point? Why are you going to go do stuff for me that your ex liked when I probably don't even like it, you know? So that's really important. And no matter how long, so I have a friend, we've known each other since we were 13, and recently like we reconnected, and we were talking. This is the friend that I said like, hey, you know, how can I bring value to your life? And I asked that specifically because we've known each other for so long, and we've grown so much, you know, throughout the years, that it's like, that's not the same person that I met when I was 13, obviously. So like, as your friend, what can I do to bring value into your life? And, you know, it's so important for us to communicate that with the people around us, because let's just say, you know, I like going on trips and he sees me going on trips and he's like, hey, why didn't you ever think to invite me? And it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that, you know, you would want to be included. I think, you know, just those little things, like I said, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a relationship, I think it's so important that you share things with each other so that, you know, like, hey, I would like to be invited. Like how you were saying about your dad's cooking, girl, I'll be inviting myself. As soon as I know you guys are having a party, I'm like, hey, what you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay with it, because, you know, like, when I told my dad, like, oh, Angie wants this, or like my mom, they love it. Like I think that happens with Latinos a lot, right? It's like when they offer you food and you say no, that comes off as fucking rude. You know what I'm saying?
I know. So I'm over there like, I come ready to eat, because man, your family definitely knows how to cook.
And I think that's because that's their way of showing love, you know? But I think there's something to be said with like really expressing to your partner or your friends, I guess, like you said, because honestly, there's a lot of things that I did, even with my friends. Yeah, like I love checking up on my friends, but sometimes you get to a point where you're so wrapped up in your own life, in your own bubble, whatever it is, that you forget to reach out to your friends. But you know, I've known and realized over the years that your good friends that become family, they know when either something's wrong, or they know not to get offended or feel a certain way when you don't reach out. And then you pick right where you left off. And I know that's the thing that happens, like people talk about it all the time, but I had to cut out people in my life that I felt it was like work to be friends with those people. Like I really did. And then there was a time where one of our good friends, Cookie, you know, when we first started a relationship, we probably weren't going to make it if we didn't sit down and have a strong conversation, because there was a time where I wasn't liking her patterns and she wasn't liking my patterns, and like in certain things in life, right? And it took for us to have like this strong conversation, and look at us now, like decade later, and she's, you know, the godmother to my son, and I'm very involved in her life. So it would have broken up at that time. And I think you remember when it would have broken up at that time had we not had that discussion, you know? So with your friends, what you love, what you appreciate, what you find disrespectful, with certain things. Obviously, you don't have to have these deep conversations with everyone, because you kind of should know who's there for you and who isn't. But I kid you not, I felt so much free after letting go of so many people just in the last couple of years that were just toxic. I felt like they were more of a drag. I felt like if I feel that I have to kiss your ass, you can't be my friend. Like, you can't. What am I doing that's making me feel uncomfortable to come to even have you around or to include you in something? So to me, when I let go of those negative people, it made room to actually bond more with the people that I love, like you, Cookie, you know, my real close friends. But I was only able to do that when I cut off these negative energies around me. Like that shit is so important. I know it's like people think it's cliche to say that, but it's so real when you have someone around you and you just keep them around because you've known them forever. It's right? Like you keep, you know, even family can be that to some people, like certain family members. And I only bring that up because I already know where you're going. Like I'm thinking of your situation, even family can drain you, you know, and I've seen it with my friends. I've seen it with family members. That shit is not like, it's toxic. So just as important as it is to build with your partners, it's also important to have these open dialogue with like your friendships, you know, because
Yep.
then you end up growing together. You end up appreciating each other a little bit more. People don't know this, but Angie and I, we live together. So it took us to live together to know a different side of us. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, it's crazy, but you go through these times in your life with your friends and your partners or partners. You said it right. You're right. No, but you go through these stages in your life. You said earlier, like, you think, what was the point of this relationship, right? Like, for instance, I was like, man, fuck him, to your ex, and you were like, yeah, girl, it's fuck him, but like, you know, like, it's yes, fuck him, but I don't want to shout it. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I respect that. But it made me realize, like, how toxic I was as a friend. I'm just kidding. It made me realize, like, it's true. We, like, that journey had to happen. That relationship had to happen. And you think, like, okay, what did I gain from that? If you focus on that, like, the lesson, I promise your healing process will be so much easier, because I can see it in you. Like, when your breakup first happened to where you're at now this quick, I didn't think that progress was going to happen as quick. Honestly, only because I knew how fucking hurt you were. But I chose to focus on what was the reason he came into my life. Remember these discussions a lot of times I was like, what did you learn from it? What did you appreciate from it? Like, do you have these questions that make you fucking open your eyes, right? Like, when I would ask you, like, what happened? Like, you know, what did he do that was good? And you're like, well, he did this, this, and that. And I was like, okay, so that's now I understand why you don't hate him, or now I understand why it's not fuck you. Like, there's certain things that you had to, I don't know, maybe it was me asking you the question, maybe it was your mom, maybe it was your dad, maybe it was, but those questions opened up your eyes to, rather than be toxic for yourself, was more appreciating the lesson that you learned in that relationship, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think, I mean, people, you know, come and go out of your life. I mean, there's, you know, solid people that you continue to build bonds with, but then there's people that, you know, come and go. And those are the people that you will learn probably the most from. So that's basically what I've been focused on, just learning, you know, about myself too. Like, it wasn't just about him and what, you know, he brought. It's like, why did I get in so deep so quick with somebody? Why did I, you know, where was I in my life where I felt like it was safe to just completely let go? And there's just so many questions that I had about myself and my reactions to the whole situation. And it'll help me, you know, in the future, because now I'll know, like you said, when to have my guard up, when to put it down, when to trust somebody, when to know it's right, you know, because sometimes we think it's right, but then when we like sit back and evaluate the situation, we're like, yo, the situation was fucked from the beginning.
Right.
So,
and you didn't see it until now that you got, like, now that you opened your eyes to it, you know?
Right. So I mean, just all of that, you know, and just in general, just me learning, like, my place in people's life and how important it is that I play, you know, my role in someone else's life. We're always so quick to be like, well, what is this person doing for me? It's like, okay, well, you also have to think about, what am I bringing to the table when it comes to my relationship with this person? And, you know, there's people that unfortunately you can't have a relationship for whatever reason. That's kind of like what I'm dealing with, you know, my family situation, where it's somebody that I feel like I can't, no matter what, you know, I'm just not ever going to have a healthy relationship with that person. So I choose to, you know, protect my peace. But overall, it's like, I don't hate you. I don't, you know, it ain't like, fuck you, but I do have to, you know, have my distance from certain people. There's people that I used to be really, really close with and I'm not close to anymore. Doesn't mean I don't love them. It just means that I just needed, you know, sometimes you just outgrow people too. You know, and that's really important for us to remember. Like, we're all on this journey, and some people grow faster than others. Some people are stagnant. Some people are just happy how they are. They don't give a damn. They're toxic and they're happy to be toxic.
Yes.
So, you know, so it's like, yeah. So I think this is all, you know, it's good to know who we are as a person. It's good to know, and sometimes that takes going through, you know, a fucked up breakup to realize that. And sometimes it takes us to lose friends and to lose people in our life for us to realize, like, damn, I need to work on some shit on myself.
Yeah.
So, you know, right now, like, it's just been a great time for me to reflect on the good men that I do have in my life. And that's why I told you, like, I want to shout out, you know, the good men, and I want to be able to, like, give them praise, because a lot of the men that I've grown strong relationships with are because they are, I see the good in them, but I've also seen the bad, and I see how they go to therapy. I see how they, you know, pray. I see how they read books. I see all the work that they put into themselves to become better. And I think that's where it makes me be like, okay, you know, I have to be patient when it comes to a partner, because no man's going to be perfect. And as long as he's putting the work into it, then, you know, I'm happy to be here. So yeah, just, you know, shout out to all the men that are putting in the work to, you know, fix themselves.
Yeah, you are appreciated. Even if you are single right now, you know, there's a reason for that, you know. And this is another thing I think we hold on to, because I know we got to wrap it up, but we hold on to like shit, right? So sometimes we're in a relationship, but we don't want to let go of that person, because you're like, man, I've been with them for so fucking long. I don't want another bitch. I don't want the next bitch to benefit from what I've taught this person. But sometimes, guess what? You were meant to be that stepping stone, unfortunately, for the next person. And you can't look at it that way. Otherwise, you're always going to stay stuck in a toxic situation. So sometimes, unfortunately, we are those people that make other people better, but it's just not better for you. It was meant to be for someone else. And that was just, you were just meant to be part of their journey. So just because you have so many years invested with someone does not make it okay to continue a toxic relationship with that person. If they do end up growing afterwards, all you can do is say, well, he learned his lesson from me. You know what I'm saying?
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Yeah, and not be mad for the next person, which I get it's a normal reaction or a normal feeling, but guess what? That feeling goes away once you end up moving on. Because I know that when I've done this, like when I finally moved on, I had no hard feelings. Like it took for me, I guess I must have been toxic too, you know, for myself, because
we all are though.
Yeah. And I'm okay with addressing that now because I know where I stand now. But like now that I've moved on, it allowed me to find my peace with like my past. So it allowed me to be like, okay, even though I had to go through that, even the domestic violence, I'm sorry, but even I feel like even me dealing with that, it opened my eyes to a lot of things. It showed me, it made me stronger. I know it sounds cliche to say that too, but it totally made me stronger in different ways. And I will explain that in a different episode, how, you know, I was able to overcome that and really be a survivor. Anyone who's been in a domestic violence situation knows you're a survivor, right? And there's something to that you take with you for the rest of your life. And that's in every, like, for instance, I think about my daughter. I think maybe I'm more obsessed with my daughter and the way she's, you know, she's growing because of what I've been through. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know you know this. So it's a full circle. You know what I'm saying? I think we all learn from something, but sometimes you don't learn it at the time that it happens. You learn it after, and that's okay, you know? So yeah, I think today it was definitely an episode where we dedicate to all the fathers, not even just the father, the good men out there that are someday going to be fathers or someday going to be step parents or whatever the case may be. I think, you know, you need to know that you are appreciated. And for the women out there who feel like there are not any good men out there, listen to Angie. Angie is single right now and still believes that there are good men out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, there definitely are some
you
good
just
men.
haven't found them yet.
I just haven't found the one that I feel is fit to deal with all my craziness.
And that's just how it is. Remember, I was like that for a long time. Shit. I still don't know if this is I'm just kidding. I still don't know. I'm just kidding.
I mean, no.
I'm just kidding. I know he's probably watching right now. Anyway, it was a good episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please follow us if you haven't already. We also have our Ladies Lounge. Do you have a mask with you? You know, huh? I didn't have one with me.
Not with me, but you can check them out on our Instagram.
Yeah, check out our Instagram. We officially have our winners already. There was something that was going on in my personal life that didn't allow me to give those out, but we're going to have those out quick. And we have a few more left. which we will get to eventually. But follow us if you haven't already. We have face masks. We plan on dropping some more merch, which eventually we'll also do. We're in the works of all of that. So thank you to everyone that's been tuning into us and giving us those numbers and sharing. Please share if you have a special episode that you like, or a specific spot that resonates with you better. Like, share it with people, because it really means a lot to us, and it really does something for us. Them downloads mean something for us. We're doing it for free because we want to eventually grow, but it's really something that we do with a passion. We do with love, because we do feel that we've lived certain things for a reason, and you are meant to hear. If you're listening right now, you are meant to hear this for whatever reason. So anyway, thank you guys. I'll see you later, Angie.
See you later, boo.
Bye.
Bye.